Backstory, I do information assurance for somebody, and I got lucky and I got on a job to do some HIPAA work for a company. Their routers sucked because the predecessor didn't do their job, so they needed to go buy routers while I had my nice Buffaloes on order. So the routers, they're coming in, and I was like, all right, go buy the cheapest router you can at Walmart. We'll patch it, we'll make it do until the nice Buffaloes come in. And they went and they bought the router at Walmart. I won't say the manufacturer. And they installed it, we got it going on, and I'm able to do what I need to do. But due diligence says that I will check the firmware and that I will make sure it's up to date. That's my part. If we go to court, then it's on the manufacturer. I did my part. So I did what I did, and I logged on to the router webpage, which we'll do right now. Again, these are names we shall not say, but if you're smart, you'll figure it out. Okay. Come on, Linux. Okay, so you go to the dashboard and you scroll down. It looks a little different when you're connected to the internet. And you go to advanced settings, and somewhere in here, firmware update. The first issue I noticed, when you click, now this box is actually patched for firmware, but when you click check for new firmware, it was 2 versions behind. It said I was good to go. I went on the manufacturer's website and it was not good to go. Come to find out, it's broken across their whole, every single router is vulnerable to this. So even if they push out the update, if the person implementing this router only goes this far, they think they're good to go and they're patched, and they're not. All right, so that's cool. So let's go to the home page. So the way this router works, you're either locked or you're unlocked. Right now we're unlocked, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a password on it. And we're going to use password as the password. All right, set password. Okay, so now all the attackers, they might be on the LAN. It's this type of router you're going to see at your mom and pop store, your bars, your whatever. It's a real company wouldn't use this router, but you're going to find this in the wild. So you're going to scroll down, you're going to see it's locked, we're going to try to unlock it. You're going to put some nonsense in, let me in, can't see it, okay, we're locked out. All right, so you scroll down and you go to router details, and the first thing I noticed when I looked at this was the fact that the password was obfuscated. So the password right now for the router is password. And granted, I'm on, can you not hear?
No.
Okay, sorry. I'll point with the mouse. So when I looked at the web GUI, the first thing I noticed was the password is obfuscated. I didn't bother counting the dots, but I saw that, and I'm like, even though I'm on the LAN, and even though I have permission, and obviously I have the password to be on the LAN, that's not right. Something's wrong here. So what I did, I decided to curl, because curl's your friend. And if you curl 192.168.2.1/dashboard.htm, and we'll pipe it to less. Oh, there we go. And we'll scroll up. Where does she be? Okay, so I looked at it in the web GUI and it was obfuscated, and I looked at it in curl, and I guess they didn't do their JavaScript or whatever high-level controls, and right there in curl it shows password as its password. So that was my first hint that this router is all jacked up. So I went online and I did some research, and it turns out that there was a CVE back in 2014 on this very router. And when you go to CVE through MITRE 2014-2962 and you pull it up, because that's the first thing you do when you want to exploit something, right? We go to our CVEs, public knowledge. 2014-2962 tells you about a Cgi Bin Vulnerability. What this allows you to do is directory traversal, right? So we can see Etsy pass WD, that type of fun stuff. So what we'll do is we'll pull up our CGI string, and I am trying to burn through this because I know we're low on time. And we'll go right here, and boom. So the firmware I have is 2X, whatever the hell it is, right? Firmware 1 was when this was disclosed, and the vendor still hasn't patched it. Why? Because they don't care. They don't care about you, me, mom, and pop. Nobody cares until you take money out of their pocket. Then they care. All right, so you'll see root X. X tells us it's shadowed, so we're going to go ahead and go to shadow, right? Now this is all public knowledge. We haven't gotten to the fun stuff. So shadow. And we go to shadow and we see this right here. $1 tells you it's MD5 sum. If you actually grab this value and you do some Googling, you find out that that value in MD5 is root, right? So the next stage to do is to do an nmap scan, right? See what's on this router. Turns out by default this router really sucks, and telnet 192.168.2.1. Okay, oh well, there we go. Demo gods be with me. Okay, root and root. And now we got root shell in a box, right? So that's kind of cool. I mean, that's out there. Anybody can find that. I played around with this thinking I could pwn the router at the command line level. I couldn't. It's a read-only file system. /var is the only read-write system, but it's actually tar xf'd at boot time. So whatever you do to var, read-write, when it's rebooted, it has no effect. So there was nothing I could do there. So I kept playing around. And I finally was like, all right, let's see what's, let's try to do some HTML magic. So we'll go here. And I'm not going to bring up Burp Suite. Jason gave an awesome talk on Burp Suite. Please watch his talk. Awesome. So what's going to happen is, without boring you guys to death and doing this as quick as possible, I'm just going to pull up a string. All right? Talk. So what happens is, when you do anything on here, you can be locked or unlocked. If you capture the string, you're able to replay it many times down the road. Any string for any router. So what we'll do, we'll grab this in 150, and while I could, go back, I could change passwords, DNS, anything you want to do, right? But that's cool, that's all gravy. Web GUI root is what we want, right? So we captured the curl string, and how I obtained this, if you look, where is it? Oh, there it is. I played with this, and if you look right here, I have nulled out what password's equal to. There used to be a string, and it went the original password in base 64, hash, TW, hash, TW, hash, and then the new password. So I tried to figure out, okay, well, how can I pwn this router without knowing the old password? You can't. You have to know the old password to do anything. So I was like, well, what happens if we just null the value out, all right? So let's null the value out, copy, and right now, just to show you guys, on this router, let's scroll down. We're the elite hackser. We're on the system. Let's change some stuff. The password's going to come up. We're going to type something in. We can't brute force it. We don't know it. It's not correct. So let's go ahead and just paste and press enter. And what we want is a 0 on the error code. And we got it. The demo gods are nice. There's our error status. Let's go here and let's press Shift F5. And it went from locked to unlocked. A 0 day, it's not known. So that was like, whoa. And there's a bunch of other fun stuff. I can change any setting unauthenticated when this router is locked. Whatever I want, just play around with Cgi Bin. So that's router 1 for manufacturer, which we're not going to mention. Let's go to the next router. So what I did, I went to Walmart and I bought the shiniest box I could. The nicest, most expensive. It says on the back, all the check marks are done. You want this router, right? So let's connect to it.
Was that the exact rating?
Pretty much. I mean, the box screams by me, you know? And there's a lot more to this, but I'm really trying to compress this and get this done so everybody can see just how bad this is. All right, so we're on. Going to go ahead and close that out. So let's go to here and log in. All right, so now we're on a different router. But the thing I noticed, the vulnerability is, it's the router and the people who this company we won't name hired. They really suck. They should be fired because they give people that attend these talks a bad name. They really should be fired. 5 minutes. All right.
5 minutes.
We're good in 3.
Yep.
Right? So this company we won't name, they're rocking mini HTTPD, all right? And it's very vulnerable how they implemented it, right? So we log on the router, and I couldn't play around with this one as nice as I could the other one. But what I found out was, after some playing around with it, if you just simply type in Belkin, and this is where Burp Suite comes in, right? API with a / you can do directory traversal. And that's amazing, right? There's all your Cgi Bin. People that are smarter than me understand what you can do with this. I'm not that smart. But After you click on all this stuff and you see what it does, I kept scrolling down, and I saw two things. I saw reboot router and restore factory default. For time purposes, I'm not going to reboot it, but let's go ahead and restore it, right? So right now you see I'm connected to router 1 and it's password protected. Let's go ahead and restore it. It's going to tell me wait 30. The router just rebooted. This is remote code execution. There's about 800 routers in the world right now. If you look at Shodan, they're vulnerable. You can constantly reboot them or you can reset them. The minute that you reset them, you lose your remote access. But if you reboot them, you're DDoSing them, and DDoS sucks, right? So we'll wait, and now you're going to see the pop-up happen telling me I've lost access to this network. It's been reset. There we go. Up here where it would say that I'm connected, I'm no longer connected. And now we're going to see, here we go, defaults. So there will be a default bell can disconnect from that guy. It's somewhere in here. So many Wi-Fis. There we go. So we'll connect back to it. The router has been reset. So how you would do this, let's say you're at a bar or wherever, and they're swiping their PCI DSS data. You know their password. The password is password because they have the sign that says, hey, join to our Wi-Fi. So what you'll do, you wait till 3 a.m. when the bar closes down. You'll reset them to default. You'll set it up just like they had it because they gave their guests access. And then you'll point their DNS to your server. Or you'll tell them to do this or do that. Whatever your imagination goes to. And we'll go ahead and pop in the default here. And now we'll join.
All right.
About 2 minutes. Okay, we're joined in. And now we'll go back to 2.1. And we're in. And the router has been reset. And if you go straight to the dashboard, come on. There we go. Okay, we're in. It's unlocked. Let's go ahead and set a password so that, the owner can't do anything. We'll set the password. Set password. And boom, nobody except us with the password, and the owner doesn't care anyways. That's why they implemented it. Things like this affect about 4 other models. Every router you buy at Walmart is vulnerable to this. Yeah. Any questions?